Hello there, welcome back to another episode of Strice Talking Points. And I've been in the Northeast for a lot of my stories because of Portland and things like that. And I came across something in my just news scroll. This is kind of, I go through various news stories, different regions, and I came across this story here. And I live in the South. I've lived in mostly my entire life in the southern United States, a little bit in the Midwest as well. However, I've never heard of this. Bikini Baristas aren't giving up after appeals court rules Everett can regulate their outfits. I saw this, didn't know what Bikini Baristas were. I'm not from the Northeast, which apparently this is a thing there. And so I just clicked on the story as kind of a break from what I normally talk about. And yeah, I don't know how to approach this one, but did I have to ask? Do people know what these are? I've feel a little out of the loop as a man. I can certainly say that I like women. And I've never really heard of this type of thing. And after a brief run through on good old internet and Reddit, holy crap, I was not ready for this. I can't believe it. This is from the Seattle Times, the story here. And this is in crime, local business, local news, local politics, and the Northwest. August 19th at 6 a.m., which is this morning. This is just a picture of one of two hillbilly hotties, espresso stands. I'm not a coffee drinker, don't like coffee in any way, shape, or form. But anyway, folks driving through Everett recently may have seen a reader board outside Bikini Barista stand accusing the city of caring more about bikinis than drugs and our homeless crisis. It's a sign, despite last month's appeal court ruling against the owners of the drive-through Java Huts, a legal clash over the coffee slingers' clothing, or lack thereof, is far from over. Now, if you live in these areas, I would really like your comment on what you think of these things. Yeah. Here we go. The city knows they are in for a very long fight, said Schuler Lifschultz, an attorney and co-owner of Hillbilly Hottie Stands. Smart people realize it's not about the bikini. It's a women's rights issue, and we're prepared to walk back into federal court and launch a whole new case. Since the battle has been brewing for about a decade, they've been around for 10 years. And has cost the city about $295,000 in litigation fees. Here's a recap of what's been keeping up. Around the end of 2009, the city began receiving what it said were numerous complaints about the stands. These complaints led to a police investigation in which officers took photos of baristas at the grab-and-go coffee stand, bending over, licking whipped cream off each other, and exposing their genitals while squatting on the ledge of the drive-through window. The women were charged with prostitution, which state law says occurs when persons engage or agrees or offers to engage in sexual conduct with another person in return for a fee. Wow. Further police investigation into what was happening at the stands led to a public records lawsuit over whether the public has the right to obtain copies of police videos showing baristas engaging in illegal activity. I'm sorry, I want to take this seriously, but it's very difficult. A former Snohomish County Sheriff's deputy pleaded guilty in 2015 to helping launder money from prostitution operation run out of some roadside stands and was sentenced to 1 year in jail. 2 years ago, citing proliferation of crimes of sexual nature at quick serve stands, the Everett City Council unanimously passed restrictions on what employees could wear. The council banned clothing exposing the torso and pubic torso, and pubic and buttocks area, along with top 3 inches of the leg below the buttocks, along and below the back shoulder blades. Okay. I take this seriously. It is a news story, and I do want to cover it. However, after looking into this, I can't believe these things exist. But I personally don't think I would go through them, but hey, it is what it is. This is an image of the dress code they want to have for any employee of a restaurant, which will take out like probably like Hooters or well, that's the national brand most people have seen, where you have to wear like a tank top, wife beater, whatever you want to call it, and shorts that must go 3 inches down. Yeah, so I was reading into this, and it really didn't make a lot of sense to me until I clicked on Bing and typed in Bikini Barista and pulled up images. Now, I'll show those in a moment. The city argued that the act of wearing pasties and G-string at work did not constitute speech, and that there is legal precedent for treating women's chests differently than men's. There is, actually. Last month, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in Everett's favor, holding that if baristas' intended message was about empowerment and confidence, that message was unlikely to be understood by those who view them. I don't think you can rule other people's interpretation like that. I don't know that you can legally rule that. However, not my focus. The appeals court panel also accepted the city's argument about secondary effects associated with the stands, including sexual violence against the baristas themselves, as well as prostitution. Now, prostitution is clearly illegal. Sexual violence against the baristas themselves, they didn't really make... I haven't seen a lot on that, but already in this article, they've already discussed the... Oh, man, thing's freezing up. The sheriff's deputy who had actually laundering money through there. Sheriff's deputy who had actually been laundering prostitution money through one of these things. All right, so they have that. Because the matter is still working its way through the courts, the city isn't making any immediate plans to enforce the dress code, but looks forward to doing so eventually. So what you have is the town and community and the police officers ruling against them as, hey, this is prostitution, this is encouraging sexual violence, this is not something that we allow under law. And the other side is saying, hey, no, this is about empowering and freeing women. Now, since a lot of what I've seen out of Portland is the progressive side of Seattle, of Washington State, linking all these places together, even though some of them are fairly close. Of course, the counter argument, meanwhile, nothing about employee attire has changed at Hillbilly Hottie Stands, said the owner, Yvonne Edge, one of the plaintiffs in the case. Her barista's outfits can be revealing but aren't see-through, she said. This whole bikini coffee thing, who cares, she said. If you don't like it, please don't come. All right, so that's their side. They're saying, hey, they're not out in public, even though from images of these stands, these things are tiny. I mean, this appears to be smaller than the office I'm sitting in now in my house. It's just a tiny little place. And, you know, apparently this is a very popular thing. You see on the map 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right here on this map. I'm going to zoom out just a little. And you see it's just north of Seattle. And Yeah, this is what you're looking at, Bikini Baristas. When I pulled up Bing to go through images of these people, workers, employees, whatever, I found that was this. I mean, look, pasties, pasties, a shirt which doesn't cover anything. Yeah, I don't know. Look, they're just. Could you imagine a Starbucks dress like this? Would you see all the different? It's in the background of some of the images. I'm trying to find one that's not too raunchy. Here we go. All right, so cappuccino machine, coffee maker, grinder, all that type of stuff in the image. She's wearing a bikini top. She has a tattoo. Here's one from the side. You've got all the flavorings, mixers, orange juice, straws. She's definitely wearing a bikini. A lot of tattoos, espresso machine. Yeah. I never knew such things existed. To see them, I'm just glad to have a story that kind of breaks up what I normally talk about. So I want to click back on that. These things are apparently everywhere in this area. I can't find the other image, which had literally showing hundreds of these things around Seattle and the surrounding area, and this one small town, Everett, trying to crack down on them using the argument and the evidence of laundering prostitution through one of these things, and the city basically trying to enforce in the South we call them blue laws, such as you can't buy liquor on certain days, you can't have certain types of gentlemen's clubs within in operation at certain hours. You've got to, in the Bible Belt, there's a lot of laws which are passed by the communities which kind of push out certain elements they don't like. What do you guys think about these things? What is the overall idea here? Because spending $294,000 on litigation of these things over the last decade, sounds like a lot of money to me. Granted, it's 10 years, so it's about $30,000 a year, which is still a lot of money, to try and push them out. Do you guys go to these things? I've never heard of such. I just found this to be more interesting, that the city is one and they're going to try and enforce this, and then of course they're going to try and push this in federal court, which I'm not a lawyer, not sure how they'll win, because like I said, here in my region you have lots of blue laws, lots of different things where some things are allowed in some areas but not in others. It's a whole thing. But hey, that's just my opinion. I would assume that as long as they stay inside the building, they could kind of wear whatever. I did have a video that I found about this. However, it was not something I feel like I could show on here. These images are straight up from Bing, so you can go find this stuff yourself if you've never heard of such things. I don't think I would go to one, just because I don't drink coffee overall, and the last time I was with someone, it was a girlfriend, and I'm pretty sure she wouldn't go to these things either. But to each their own. I'm sure that if you are a construction worker, a normal hourly worker, or even some professionals, you would probably go here and get your coffee, because if it costs the same, always buy stuff from the pretty girl. That's my opinion. Thank you all for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Did you know these things exist? Do you go to these things? Do you think that wearing revealing clothing should be allowed inside these little stores? Or do you see the ties to, them actually having the prostitution through the deputy there and these other things as an effect? I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think. The most interesting political story I've seen, and I learned something new today. So thank you all for listening, and have a great day.